Now to an innovative new way to protect our schools and churches against the epidemic of mass shootings in this country. These shootings have tripled over the last 6 years, with more than 600 this year alone. Now an innovative new technology developed by ex-Navy SEALs is being deployed around the country to detect guns before they can be used to do harm. This new technology, called ZeroEyes, pairs artificial intelligence with human expertise to save lives. We're joined now by Rob Huberty, a former Navy SEAL and who's the co-founder of ZeroEyes. Rob, we appreciate not only your service to our country, but we appreciate you joining us here on Centerpoint.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Rob, before we get to what the technology actually does, was there a event or mass shooting that prompted the creation of this technology?
Of course there was. The Parkland shooting really was the impetus for the company, but I think we've all been kind of touched by it in our lives. My hometown was Monroe, Connecticut. Sandy Hook happened in the town right next to me. My middle school actually became Sandy Hook Elementary School. Columbine was my senior year of high school. I went to school with some of the victims, or not the victims, but the survivors of Columbine. And then right after Parkland, we noticed that the video cameras were not being watched, and that there was an opportunity to know that the shooting was going on before the trigger was ever pulled, shots were ever fired. So we said, isn't there a technology that is looking at the cameras? And when there wasn't that technology, we said, that's what we're going to do.
All right, so explain what the technology actually does.
So it's as easy as this. We take your existing video cameras, and our artificial intelligence watches the cameras. And every time that there's a gun, or the artificial intelligence thinks there's a gun, we're going to send that image to our operations center, where we use veterans, a human in the loop, and they're going to verify it. So the veteran never sees the active video camera itself. It only sees an image that it thinks is a gun. And so it's going to verify that. So the AI is going to say, is there a gun? Is there a gun? Frame by frame, all of the cameras at once. It never gets tired. And then it's going to show a handful of images that it thinks are guns to a person. And they say, gun or no gun. So that we can distribute that alert to the people who need to know, the first responders that can actually prevent it. So we're going to talk to, school resource officers, security, 911 call centers, and we're going to call them up. We're going to verify it. We're going to send it out in as many ways as possible to make sure that people know what's going on, so that first responders can show up at the right place at the right time with the right equipment.
What do you say to schools, Rob, or churches, or even office buildings that say, we don't have video cameras in place? Man, it just sounds like a lot. What do you say to those people?
I mean, I think the cameras are pretty ubiquitous. They're kind of everywhere at this point. If they're not in a location, then we can't. We need the existing cameras. We don't install the cameras. We're going to process the ones you already own. We're just one layer of protection. We don't view ourselves as the only thing, but it turns out in most of these cases, in these terrible situations where they're doing the mass shootings I'm talking about, where they're saying, I'm going to make people pay, I want to become infamous, they end up showing their guns in the parking lots on cameras for minutes, sometimes seconds, but sometimes many minutes before the shooting ever occurs. And that's an opportunity to make people a little bit safer. And we're going to sit there in the background in the least intrusive way and be one layer of security. So I think that the more that cameras get installed, the better they are, the better our technology is going to work. But these camera infrastructures already work in a very powerful way everywhere in our daily lives. We're going to be least intrusive to your daily life.
Your company is 80% veterans. I'm sure you did that on purpose. And I'm sure other veterans thought, hey, this sounds like great technology where we can use our military skills.
A lot of it is finding purpose outside of the military. So I spent about 10 years in the SEAL teams, and there was a lot of meeting. And then when I went and found a job, I didn't find as much meeting. And I really value the skill sets and the ability to volunteer, to do something bigger than yourself, a mission-driven purpose. And so we want to align with individuals that have that same focus, and they want to continue to serve in their civilian life. So we created the company for something that is devastating. We always hear the words never again, and then it happens again and again. We want to take action, and we want to do it with people who really care, who are willing to volunteer and see something bigger than themselves.
Well, it's a great product and a great creation. Rob Huberty, co-founder of ZeroEyes. We appreciate you discussing it here on Centerpoint and joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.